I plant a whole row of walnuts here. They are not just planted, but also laid in the ground, and they've already grown a bit. Even though the village we came to in order to film this episode is called Chervona Dibrova, the locals mostly plant walnuts instead of oak trees. This is perhaps to avoid recalling the bloody origin of the name of the village. Chervona Dibrova. It is said that during the war, Stephen III of Moldavia harnessed people to plow the land and sow oak trees. Those who fell were shot. That's why it's called Chervona Dibrova, because he planted a whole oak tree grove here. The locals have more positive associations with walnut trees. These trees are planted in almost every yard and they offer a variety of uses, both for the fruits and leaves. There are even superstitions associated with these walnuts. Plant a walnut so your sons would grow up courageous. They plant walnuts because they are good for one's health. They're nutritious. Walnut oil and walnuts themselves with wheat on the Christmas Eve. We really love ground walnuts. Walnuts reinforce the earth. We have very large landslides here. I don't want the road to be displaced. Walnuts are planted so there are fewer flies. They don't fly where there is a walnut tree on the porch. A long time ago, when there were no basements, we dug holes in the ground, kept potatoes there and covered them with walnut leaves, and then with earth so that mice won't get to them. My grandmother told me when there was a famine, they gave people 5 walnuts a day, and that was enough. Indeed, walnuts are very filling. 100 grams of the product contains 654 calories, which is twice the calorie content of pasta and buckwheat. Walnuts are slow in digestion, so they last a long time. It is incredible, but walnuts contain 50 times more vitamin C than citrus fruits. The shape of a peeled walnut is similar to the brain, which has generated many rumors about the benefits of this product for the mind in particular. This is the case when rumors are true, because walnuts stimulate brain activity. Omega-3 fatty acids, which it contains in large quantities, are attributed to the formation of human brain cells. In the Caucasus, the walnut tree is considered sacred, and walnut treatment is practiced successfully in Oriental medicine. Basically, only walnuts among all the fruit crops contain a high percentage of iodine. They're especially beneficial in treating the thyroid gland. Leaves are also used in addition to green walnuts themselves. Many believe that based on the name in Ukrainian Hretzky Horich or Greek nuts, Greece is the homeland of the walnut, but that's not the case. In fact, in ancient times, the Greeks themselves called these nuts Persian, royal, or Sinop, since back then walnuts were delivered from Sinop, a territory of modern Turkey. However, they were brought to the Kievan Rus from Greece, which is why they are called Greek nuts here. Though there was a time when walnuts were brought from Wallachia, a historical region in the south of Romania. These nuts were called Wallachian in Ukraine back then. It was this nutritional natural product with an ancient history that our hero, a former builder and now an owner of a walnut plantation in the Chernivtsi Oblast, Safron Farfulak, decided to grow. Our fields are in Chervona Dibrova, Hlibotsky Rayon, Chernivtsi Oblast. We rent about 100 hectares of land. We have 30 hectares of currants, and 15 hectares will be occupied by walnut trees.
Приблизительно около 100 гектаров. Занятие сельским хозяйством на сегодняшний день это, можно сказать, продолжение.
Agriculture is the continuation of the work of my ancestors. At the beginning of the past century, our grandfathers emigrated to Canada to earn money in order to buy these fields.
Заработать деньги, чтобы купить эти поля. Сельским хозяйством я начал заниматься.
I started farming 10 years ago and now I am retired. I worked as a bridge builder all my life. I worked on the construction of the Baikal-Amur main line and built bridges in Ukraine.
Работал на строительстве Байкало-Амурской магистрали и, соответственно, уже на Украине строили мосты. Ушел на пенсию и решил заняться сельским хозяйством.
Then I retired and decided to get into agriculture. My parents lived in a village. When I came there, I saw abandoned crop fields all around and decided to restore them. We planted gardens, 30 hectares of apple trees and 30 hectares of currant.
30 гектаров яблони. Посадили мы здесь смородину 30 гектаров. Уже 4 года как занялись.
It's been 4 years since we started working with walnut saplings. I have virtually no agronomists, so I'm the main agronomist and director of the farm. We now have a chief technologist at our walnut tree farm, who worked in the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, and has a lot of experience in growing walnut trees. Currently, he's in charge of walnut growing technology and the preparation of it for sale on the domestic market.
И его подготовка к продаже.
Even though the choice of location was predetermined by family roots, this area turned out to be the most favorable from the perspective of walnut tree cultivation. Even foreign experts in this agrarian sphere confirmed this fact. An Indian delegation came here which wanted to plant a garden in Bukovina. They had traveled all around the world: California, the Czech Republic, France, Italy, and other countries. Also Turkey, where walnut farming is very strong today.
Производство ореха на сегодняшний день очень хорошее. Они определились, что по качествам и по
They determined that Bukovina is the best place in the world for growing walnut trees. Nature took care of everything for us.
Природа заложила все заложила без.
We use almost no chemicals on the trees, and even if they are affected by some diseases, they're quite insignificant.
Болезни бывает, то это незначительные.
Safron Petrovich's walnuts are most adapted to Ukrainian conditions, since they are grown on a mountainous area, where the air temperature is several degrees lower than in the regional center. This is the beginning of the cultivation of walnut saplings. The seedling, which is planted in the ground in the spring, is grown for 2 years. After 2 years, it will end up in the laboratory for further grafting. We have allocated a trial field for our internal tests and introduced our ideas in regards to walnut grafting.
Мы выделили опытное поле для своих внутренних испытаний.
One of the grafting methods, which practically nobody uses today, is root grafting. We're successful in this, but only in 50% of the cases. There are certain problems that we're working on to resolve together with expert scientists in this sphere, but I think that we will see good results in a matter of a couple of years.
До 50%. Есть некоторые проблемы, над которыми мы работаем вместе с наукой, и я думаю, что где-то через пару лет результаты будут.
The potential is 20,000 seedlings per year. The planting area is about 10 hectares. The farmer's special pride is, of course, his own laboratory, where the grafting of walnut seedlings happens. It is unique on the territory of Ukraine. The price of a grafted walnut seedling can be as high as 12 euros. The station has been working on the selection of this crop for more than 40 years now.
Зараз ми знаходимося у маточно-живцевому саду горіха грецького.
We're in the walnut grafting orchard right now. We use this garden to grow varietal seedlings. Our station provides planting stock for farms in the Cherkasy, Zhytomyr, and Mykolaiv oblasts.
Садивним матеріалом, живцевим матеріалом розсадницькі господарства як нашої області, Черкаської, Житомирської, Миколаївської областей. Наші сорти характеризують.
Our varieties are characterized by their valuable farming properties. The kernel output is from 46 to 53%. Which is a very high indicator.
Це дуже високі показники.
All varieties grown at the station have a light kernel. In addition, they are all thin-walled. When pressed, they are easily cracked and separated into halves, quarters, or even the whole core. These are indicators of the high quality of our kernels. The most difficult stage in the cultivation of walnut trees is the reproduction and cultivation of seedlings, since it's harder for a walnut tree to take root compared to other fruit crops. While the survival rate of the crops is 80 to 90%, when it comes to walnuts, it is approximately 50 to 75%. The Bukovina walnut tree is frost-resistant. Despite the fact that the temperature in these regions dropped as low as minus 34 degrees in 2010, it is reduced to minus 45 in special environmental chambers. And the walnut passes these tests with flying colors. According to research results, our varieties showed a high level of frost resistance. For those who love organics, the good news will be the fact that walnut trees do not require a large amount of sprayings with pest control agents. While other fruit crops require about 20 treatments, walnut trees need many less such treatments. 5 to 6 sprayings is enough. They are mainly done at the start of the walnut tree growing season, so the products are environmentally friendly. Recently, the experimental station received a patent for a new high-yield variety Lehin, which means fine fallow. Scientists are also working on the high-productivity varieties Hetman and Krasen. Their further fate awaits them. That is registration in the State Register of Ukraine. Walnuts are actively used in the production of confectionery goods, especially cakes. After all, this product is both delicious and healthy for the human body. For example, a grillage cake has a walnut content of around 20%. It is especially popular among consumers and not just in Ukraine, but all over the world. It is in the top 3 in terms of mass production of goods. Our products are exported to different countries such as Canada, Germany, Israel and the US. We're expanding our borders. We sell 3,000 pieces a day. After Ukraine, walnuts enjoy the highest popularity in Germany. About 8 tons of walnut are processed per month. The production of grillage cake involves the work of more than 70 people. One of the first and most important stages of processing walnuts is sorting. I sort walnuts to make sure that they are of high quality and clean, and I physically remove the kernel membranes and shells. We get quality roasted walnuts from the oven shop. Then we pour them with sugar syrup and put them in the fridge. There are special machines that crush the walnuts, and then we add the resulting grillage to the cream filling. We then add crushed walnuts, which we call caramel, to butter icing in order to glue them to the grillage cake together. After that, the template length is sent to the cake decorating department. From there, it goes to the consumer. They assured us in the production facility that baking a grillage cake is not nearly as difficult as it might seem. That means that anyone can chew through it. Currently, 14 walnut varieties are being grown on Saffron Farfouilac's plantation and are put up for sale. In the future, they plan to expand and start exports. We're increasing volumes, increasing the capacity of our laboratory, and plan to build another one or maybe 2 greenhouses in order to loop the whole process of walnut growing and increase the output volume. Sometime next year, we will reach the production milestone of about 50,000 seedlings of varieties of walnut per year. We're not exporting yet, but the Italians have visited us and they're very interested in our product, and we're certainly going to meet again. There's a state support program for the agricultural sector in Ukraine for those who plant walnut orchards. The country pays 330 hryvnias for a 2-year-old sapling. The comparison of exports of horticultural products in the first 5 months of the past and current years indicates that shipments abroad have increased. Agronomists are increasing production, so they're actively buying planting material, and compensation from the state up to 80% of the cost of seedlings is a great help. Another important factor in the success of the program is that the cost compensation also applies to imported planting material, which means that agricultural producers are not limited in the choice of seedlings. The next step in supporting the horticultural industry may be the focus on value-added products, their processing, or even freezing for the future.